The scene at Anfield is heating up behind the scenes. A serious injury has disrupted Arne Slot's plans and sparked a race against time that could define Liverpool's season. Giovanni Leone, a promising 20-year-old defender, has suffered an anterior cruciate ligament rupture and will be sidelined for around a year. The news landed like a bombshell, not only because of the young player's potential, but because he was being groomed as one of the options to give depth to the Reds' defense. Suddenly, Slot is faced with a dilemma: how to maintain the consistency of a team that started the Premier League at full throttle but risks weakening without defensive options. This is where the name of Marc Guehi from Crystal Palace resurfaces strongly on Anfield's agenda. It is not the first time the Reds have approached the English defender. Last European summer, negotiations were almost concluded around £35 million, but in a dramatic twist, Palace pulled out of the deal after failing to find a worthy replacement for their captain. Guehi, who was almost ready to arrive in Liverpool, saw his dream postponed in the final hours of the transfer window. Now, however, Leone's injury has reignited interest and placed even greater pressure on the Reds board to act quickly. Liverpool know they are in a delicate situation. On one hand, they have a squad that has shown strength and opened the season with 5 consecutive Premier League wins, proving that Slot has already stamped his identity on the team. On the other, there is the awareness that a grueling schedule, including European competitions, requires depth, solidity, and balance. And this is precisely in the context that Guehi emerges as the #1 target to strengthen the defense, while also giving the Dutch coach the peace of mind to rotate his squad without risking the defensive structure. The 25-year-old English defender is not merely a player of potential, he is already a proven reality. His presence on the pitch, aerial dominance, and ability to lead the defensive line have caught the attention of top clubs. For Arne Slot, he would be the perfect complement to the experience and authority of Virgil van Dijk. Imagine the scene: a young rising star alongside one of the most respected defenders of the decade. The blend of youth and leadership would fit perfectly into his plans for his first season at Anfield. But Liverpool are not alone in this race. Sources indicate that Real Madrid are monitoring Guehi closely and see the defender as a strategic piece for the future. Los Blancos already envisage the Englishman forming a solid base alongside names such as Jude Bellingham and perhaps one day even alongside Alexander-Arnold should they attempt to entice the fullback to Spain. It is a behind-the-scenes chess game where each move could determine not just the present, but the next decade of European football. It is precisely this threat from Real Madrid that may force Liverpool to accelerate their plans. Guehi's contract with Crystal Palace runs until 2026, meaning that from January 2026 he could sign a pre-contract agreement with clubs outside England. The Reds do not want to risk watching another top club take a defender for free. For this reason, the January transfer window has become an absolute priority. The idea is to move early, close the deal in January, and ensure Guehi is wearing red this season. From Palace's perspective, there is a mixture of resistance and pragmatism. The club know they cannot hold on to such a coveted player indefinitely, especially with the risk of losing him for nothing in the near future. Renewing his contract would be the ideal scenario for them, but the atmosphere doesn't seem conducive to that happening. Faced with this reality, accepting a good offer from Liverpool could be the most sensible option to avoid future losses. Meanwhile, behind the scenes at Liverpool, the board are exploring alternatives. Another name on the radar is that of Brazilian Gleison Bremer, currently at Juventus. The defender is considered one of the Italian side's defensive pillars, but the cost is daunting, somewhere between 70 and 80 million euros. It is no secret that Manchester United are also interested, increasing the competition. Yet given the figures, Guehi emerges not only as a more affordable option, but also as a strategically sound one. After all, beyond his age, he already knows the Premier League and would not require a lengthy adaptation period.
The truth is that Slot cannot afford to wait too long. The season is long, the game's intense, and the margin for error ever smaller. The Dutch coach knows that his arrival at the club brought hope of continuity after Klopp's era, but also expectations of immediate trophies. And without a deep squad, that mission could become complicated. Strengthening the defense is therefore not a luxury. It is a matter of survival in the fight for silverware. As if that were not enough, another shadow is looming over Anfield: the future of Ibrahima Konate. The French defender is attracting interest from giants such as Arsenal, Chelsea, Manchester City, and even Real Madrid themselves. His Liverpool contract expires next summer, and rumours about a possible departure are increasing the pressure on the board to secure at least one major reinforcement before any further losses occur. The absence of Giovanni Leone does not just represent the loss of a promising player, but the collapse of a carefully crafted plan by Arne Slot for this season. The coach had been banking on a blend of youth and experience to underpin the Reds' defense, allowing Van Dijk and Konate to breathe throughout the calendar. The idea was clear: prepare Leone to be gradually introduced to matches of greater responsibility, gaining maturity without the pressure of taking on immediate protagonism. That strategy now vanished in seconds, with the serious injury forcing the club to rethink everything at breakneck speed. The psychological impact should not be underestimated either. Young players like Leone often serve as a symbol of renewal within a squad. His presence in training and matches was fuel for the group, which saw in him proof that Liverpool's academy and recruitment continued to produce talent. The news that he will be sidelined for almost a year affects not only tactical plans, but also the morale of his teammates, who now see an even greater need for reinforcements. That is why interest in Marc Guehi is intensifying. More than filling a gap, he arrives as an immediate solution and also as an investment for the future. At just 25, the defender already has enough Premier League experience to cope with the intensity of the competition, yet still has room to grow and establish himself as a world-class reference. For Slot, who favours compact, disciplined defences with quality ball progression, Guehi represents the ideal profile. He is not only physical, he is intelligent, well-positioned, and has the composure required to manage pressure situations. And that composure could be crucial at key moments of the season. Imagine a Champions League knockout tie, where every detail counts. Having alongside Van Dijk a player capable of holding the line, organising the backline, and winning aerial duels could be the difference between progressing or exiting early from a competition. This is the kind of scenario Arne Slot and his coaching staff envisage when considering the signing. It is not merely a winter reinforcement, but a piece designed for decisive moments. Another factor adding weight to the negotiations is the comparison between Guehi and other potential targets. Bremer, for example, is a respected name, but would come with a huge price tag and would need time to adapt to the pace of the Premier League. Moreover, entering into a financial battle with clubs such as Manchester United and possible Spanish suitors could drive the cost even higher. Guehi, by contrast, is within reach and offers a rare combination of technical quality, leadership, and competitive price. But what really intrigues those behind the scenes is the possibility of losing Guehi to Real Madrid. History shows that when the Spaniards put a player on their radar, they rarely back down. The temptation of building a young elite defense could prove irresistible for Florentino Perez, who sees in Guehi a profile that complements Real's long-term projects. That shadow puts pressure on Liverpool not to delay decisions, as every week of waiting could turn into a missed opportunity.
Excited but natural voice, British English accent. The Reds supporters, meanwhile, are following everything with mounting anxiety. After years accustomed to Klopp's vibrant style, fans are now adapting to Arne Slot's more calculated approach. And they know that without a solid defence, any ambition for trophies can quickly fade. The Premier League does not forgive mistakes, and the Champions League demands perfection. The popular clamour is clear. The club must act, and must act now. It is also worth noting that this movement is not only sporting, but political. Liverpool's board want to demonstrate that they are aligned with the ambitions of the coach and the supporters. Losing the chance to sign Guehi could be interpreted as a lack of boldness, something that could strain relations between the club and its fans. Securing his arrival in January, especially after last summer's frustration, would send a powerful message. Liverpool are back to acting like a giant, with courage, strategy, and ambition. Furthermore, there is the symbolic factor of facing Crystal Palace this weekend. It will be the perfect opportunity to watch the coveted target up close. Imagine the impact if Guehi produces a standout performance against the team that could be his future. Every interception, every duel won, every display of leadership would become a showcase of his qualities. And inevitably, it would increase the pressure on the Anfield board to seal the deal swiftly. Ultimately, Liverpool stand at a crossroads. They must act with speed and intelligence to secure Guehi in January, or risk repeating past mistakes where hesitation proved costly. The difference this time is that there is no room for improvisation. The season has started well, but without the defensive solidity required, any slip could cost trophies. And Arne Slot knows that his project, still in its consolidation phase, needs stability to flourish. The saga is only just beginning, but one thing is certain: the next chapters will be decisive. If Guehi really arrives at Anfield, it will not just be a signing, but a clear statement to all Europe that Liverpool have returned to acting like a giant, with courage, strategy, and ambition.